the channel. And in today's car chit chat, we talking about what healing rejection really looks like, but it's not the Instagram version, not the social media version. This is the real life version. As I'm going through my healing journey, I realized that God is doing a lot of pruning, and that pruning is internal. Because rejection will show up in our lives and our relationships in ways that we won't think that it'll show up. So for me, rejection was showing up in parenting my son. I would notice a disconnect between our communication, a disconnect in our relationship, because he's now 16 years old. And I started to think about where I went wrong. I think I'm a great mother, even though I'm doing it by myself. And then in relationships, like with homegirls or in dating, rejection will show up in ways that we wouldn't expect. Because if someone don't answer the phone when we call them fast enough, then we assume that they're ignoring us. Or if we're dating and the guy don't text back as quickly as we think he should text back, then we assume that he's ghosted us. And what God helped me to realize is that this stuff, it comes from wounds that we haven't healed. You know, we have to go back to the beginning. We have to go back to the root. Similar to the Bible, we can't know the full story of Jesus unless we knew how God created this world and how mankind fell from God's grace, from his true presence. So with me, my mother and my father, they rejected me and my sisters and my brothers. And I tell this story all the time. When I was 7, so I grew up without proper caregiving. I grew up without knowing how to have a proper relationship. I grew up thinking that I always had to give in order to receive what I thought was love. And although my sisters and brothers and I were adopted by my mom now, it was still hard, because when we were adopted by her, I was nearly 16. I was in high school, so my identity had already kind of formed around relationships. And that rejection and that emptiness caused me to look for love in all the wrong places. Even in my adult days, in my college days, in my adult days, after I had my son, caused me to look for love in all the wrong places. And I noticed also that I would reject people before they could reject me, especially when it comes to women. I would say, oh no, I don't want to hang with her, I don't want to be her friend, whatever the case may be, because I thought that she would reject me first, because that's what I was used to. I was used to nobody stand. And then with men, it got to a point to where I'm like, every man who, was supposed to love me, who was supposed to care for me, teach me, they end up abandoning me. They ended up hurting me. Rejection was my story with men, which is why I look for love with them in all the wrong places. I was promiscuous. I never knew what a healthy relationship was. So I got saved when I was 30. So it's been about 10 years now, but I haven't fully walked the walk with God like I should have. My heart was never 100% with God until now. And God started slowly healing me. He started encouraging me to take the necessary steps that I needed to take, because faith without works is dead. God can do the change in us. He can do the work in us, and he's going to complete that work until the end. The work that he starts, he's going to complete it. But we have some things that we have to do on our end. The first thing he showed me that I needed to do in order to heal that root of rejection is understand his love for me. how he knew me in the beginning, how he knew me when I was in my mother's womb, how nothing about me is a secret to him. He started showing me his word that when my mother and my father forsake me, he's still there. He's near the brokenhearted. He started showing me little love letters like that, being a good father that he is, just showing me that, hey, it's not that you don't have anybody. You may feel like you don't have people, but you got me. And he started teaching me that first, showing me what real love, real unconditional love was, and showing me that people are fickle. We live in a broken world, and someone is going to hurt you. Someone is going to hurt you. You're going to get hurt. I had to understand who my real father was and understand who I am. Because let me tell y'all something. A lot of times we allow people, places, and things into our world that should not have been there in the first place. So in return, we get burned. We turn the stove on, we leave it on, and then it blows up because it shouldn't have been on in the first place. We open the door and allow all types of things into our lives. But if we know who we are, if we know whose we are, then we won't allow most of the people, things, and places in our lives that we allow in our lives. So now my healing has begun with the knowledge of who my real true father is and what unconditional love looks like. So next, this the hard part now. Y'all listening? Because we don't want to do this part. I had to forgive. I had to go back to the beginning, and I had to forgive my mother and my father. In the beginning, when I first started telling my story, I was playing victim because I thought I was a victim. And I blamed them for the way that I am. But God, zip it. Zip it, zip it, zip it. And I need you to forgive them. Because you can't truly heal until you forgive the people who you are angry with. You can't even go to God in prayer and expect your prayers to be answered if you are angry with someone, if you have hatred in your heart towards someone. So I had to forgive in order to get my true healing. And we have to understand that forgiveness is our medicine. When you hate someone or when you're angry with someone, it doesn't do anything to that person, but it harms you internally. So I had to forgive. That was step 2. Forgive. I forgave my mother and my father, and God gave me a new understanding that there was generational cycles and generational things that were happening, and they only did what they knew. And he also helped me realize that, hey, you won't never understand anyway, because they not here no more. You won't never understand, because a part of you just want closure. A part of you just won't understand it. I'm thankful that, everything went the way it went, because it was all for God purposes, and everything always works out for our good. When it comes to rejection, healing rejection, and it's not pretty. You may have to cry. You may have to argue with God. You may have to argue with yourself. But now you got to forgive yourself. You got to forgive yourself for doing to God what some of those people did to you. Everybody who hurts you or who you perceive as those that rejected you, sometimes it's for the purposes of God, for your good. So we perceive rejection. Rejection is a perception, it's not a fact. We can easily say somebody rejected us, but did they really reject us? Forgive yourself for allowing those people in your life who purposely or accidentally, unknowingly rejected you. I had to forgive myself for allowing all the men into my life who took a little piece of my self-esteem and pulled me away from my Father God. I had to forgive me for allowing that, because nobody can do to you what you don't allow. Yeah, their actions can take action that may hurt you, but it's up to you on your perspective of that action and how you allow that action to have power over you. I had to forgive me for not guarding my heart, for protecting my peace, for not protecting my peace. And then I have to ask God for forgiveness and discernment and wisdom and knowledge and strength and protection from evil and deliverance from temptation. Because healing isn't linear. There's a lot of moving parts depending on how deep your root of rejection is. And some people, they have to go to counseling because the rejection is so deep. They have perceived that so many people have done them wrong. So they see no good. And it's going to take them talking to a professional in addition to the power of Jesus to heal them. I don't know what type of stronghold you're dealing with, but I want to let you know that healing is available. And Jesus will help you with that healing, but you have to allow him to help you with that healing. And our series this month is going to be on rejection and abandonment, and it's going to be on the Moses story. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. But what if Moses already been insecure because he had a speech problem and he didn't think nobody would listen to him? What if after the first try, the second try, he would have gave up because he felt rejected? Oh God, you told me to go, I went, and he's not listening to me just like I knew he wasn't listening to me. It's because of my speech problem. It's because of my past. It's because when I was a baby, they tried to kill me and felt rejected and abandoned his purpose. That's what rejection will make you do. A lot of us have abandoned our purpose so long, and I just want us to break that root of rejection. I don't want us to allow the enemy to use us anymore to make us act out of rejection. I want us to heal, to take it to God, to forgive. Write those thoughts out, sis. If you got to pull back from certain people in your life for a season, pull back. But you got to do what's good for your mental. You got to do what's good for your healing. If you want a weekly structure of monthly healing, this month we are diving into rejection and abandonment all month long. Check the description. All important links are there. I love y'all, and I will talk to y'all in the next video.